and welcome to the Mindset Nebula podcast. I'm Rob Neuenschwander. On this podcast, we talk about tech, we talk about SAP, we talk about design, and we talk about other topics of interest. And here today to discuss SAP TechEd 2022. So, Rob Neuenschwander, principal. I'm in Minneapolis.
I'm Ethan Jewett. I'm Director of DevOps Development and Technology, also in Minneapolis, longtime Nebula panelist.
We have two new panelists today. Could you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Juhi Kulshresht. I'm a Senior Manager in Mindset India office.
Awesome. Welcome, Juhi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chetan Teli. I'm working as a technical architect here in Bangalore Mindset office.
Great. Welcome. Nice to have you here. Okay, so today, like I said, we're going to talk about TechEd. So TechEd just happened, and we haven't had a chance to debrief on it yet. I've certainly seen a bit of discussion in the SAP community, and we've had some internal conversations. So excited to share a little bit about that today. And also excited that we have someone who actually attended the events in Las Vegas live and in person. So that'll give us a better perspective than the briefs and the write-ups and the videos that we've seen offhand. So why don't we start with you, Chetan, and talk a little bit about what you saw, what was intriguing for you, what was it like to be even back in person at an event? Maybe give us some of your early mind thoughts.
Yeah, sure. So the event was it was a 2-day event where earlier it used to be a 4-day, but this time they have shortened to 2 days. And in the 2 days, they try to consolidate most of the sessions. And the first day was the keynote session by CTO Yon Mulga. And during the keynote session, so they mainly explained about the BTP, where the SAP has introduced many tools and so many offerings. And so the good thing about the SAP BTP is now their plan is to mainly concentrate on the technology part, the irrespective of the different line of business. Like they want to integrate all the line of businesses like lead to cash, recruit to retire. So all the solutions they have integrated with considering the technology in the mind. So that's why during the end of the keynote, the Jorgen said business technology is a platform where which is developed by keeping the technology in mind, where the businesses, all the line of businesses can be integrated seamlessly, considering the latest technology for all the enterprises, and also considering the sustainability in mind. And with that, so in BTP, they have introduced so many the new things, mainly like SAP ABAP Cloud, so which is a latest like we could say the enhancement of the steampunk, and now the ABAP Cloud is available on the on-premise S/4HANA on-premise, and as well as S/4HANA public and private edition. And like that, so they have come up with so many other features, like they have introduced a simple button in the SAP Fiori applications, like undo and redo, like whenever the user want to do some operations on the SAP Fiori applications, so they can redo the operations. So like this, they have come up with other tools and technologies, mainly mainly the BTP is they have this time they said the BTP is divided across 5 components. One is the SAP apps development and automation and integration and the data and analytics and artificial intelligence. So they have explained across all the different components. So what are the new offerings and new tools they have? They have come up with all these things. So overall, it was a very good learning session, and the SAP is mainly their concentration is to move each and every customer towards cloud side with the conventional the ECC platform. They want everyone to move towards either on the public cloud or a private cloud. And in fact, even on-premise is also the option is given, but their main their main agenda is to move everyone towards the cloud. So this was the brief about.
Yeah, we hear, the same with a lot of our customers too, that's the conversations that they're having internally and with SAP are increasingly focused on a lot of those cloud decision points. We've actually had a number of engagements recently to, just have those conversations and advisory engagements with customers to help work through the different dynamics of on-prem versus cloud, and even, which cloud selection. Ethan, was there anything surprising in kind of the areas that we discussed thus far?
Yeah, there were a couple of themes this year that I thought were really interesting. There were some big themes around sort of consolidating the message and the sort of the vision for different product categories. So you saw that with SAP Build, consolidating the sort of low code, no code message that SAP has, and maybe taking the first steps towards really consolidating the tools. I wouldn't exactly call them fully consolidated yet, but they're better related to each other, better oriented to each other. Similar in analytics, where SAP announced a move that we discussed in our last roundtable, where some of our participants brought a lot of knowledge to that topic, where SAP announced that, I'm blanking on the name, but announced bringing together all the different cloud-based analytics tools, Data Warehouse Cloud, SAP Analytics Cloud, and some of the data integration tools into sort of one brand, but eventually it'll be one product offering as well, is what it sounds like. So that was good. I thought the most surprising thing and probably most encouraging thing from my perspective was SAP starting to recognize the need for on-premise aspects of the cloud. So to date, SAP's mostly just had sort of Cloud Connector, and that's been the story around how you get on-premise stuff into the cloud. So it's been a one-way street. You don't build new stuff on-prem, you only build stuff in the cloud. And that just doesn't work for a lot of customers. It doesn't work for customers that maybe are highly regulated or something like that, where they just can't necessarily use SAP's cloud offering to run actual business processing. But it also doesn't work for customers who are on older versions of SAP, ERP, ECC, Business Suite, or even CRM and other on-premise offerings that are really struggling to move to cloud, where there are very limited tools for doing side-by-side extensions and for moving in-place extensions in their applications to the cloud. So some of SAP's announcements this TechEd were really interesting from that perspective, and I think encouraging. ABAP Cloud, which is, in my opinion, badly named, because a big aspect of ABAP Cloud, like Chetan said, is that it's available on premise in your in new S/4HANA systems, and then also the option to have an on-premise execution node for integration suite that was announced and should be available in 2023. So that will help with companies that want to use the tools of integration suite but are not able to have that data processed in the cloud or in SAP's cloud. It will also help with customers that are on PIPO and want to move to a cloud-based offering but are struggling to do so either because they can't move the business logic, or because it's on-prem to on-prem integration. And so having it go through the cloud is going to really slow things down. And so they need to have an on-premise processing node. So those two things I think are really moving in the right direction. I'm hoping we see more of that from SAP in the analytics space also maybe, but no announcements there yet.
Awesome. Juhi, is there anything that you heard or read or particularly interested in kind of what you've seen come out of TechEd?
Yeah, I feel the main theme of this TechEd was SAP build and no code, and especially the demo when they showed a kid building an application. And so they demonstrated how easy it is to build the apps. But I, firmly believe that customizations will be required for, bigger players who are using legacy SAP systems or have bigger landscape. But yes, this can be a boon for, smaller big businesses, which require simpler user interface with the power of SAP behind it. So yeah, it may tap the untapped market, which has not been targeted yet. And apart from these two, one theme which stood out was joint reference architecture between SAP and AWS. So it has long been a dream of mine to see SAP having the same features as AWS, like high availability, resiliency, and failover proof, pay-as-you-go scalability, and so on. So this dream has come true to some extent when SAP and AWS joined hands to come up with the joint reference architecture. Now, and one of the architecture is a data federation architecture, where data from SAP as well as non-SAP sources on AWS can be federated into SAP BTP to further leverage it to analyze and provide insights to businesses. And not only that, now we can, integrate AWS SageMaker, which is an AWS offering for building machine learning models, to to build, create, and deploy and train the machine learning models, and provide cool features related to artificial intelligence. And apart from that, now we can also use another AWS service called Amazon Route 53, which is used when we want to implement the feature of failover or make an application highly available. So all these services now we can integrate along with SAP, and this has been made possible by the use of SAP BTP. Yeah, I forgot to mention one more service, which is very important one. It is called Amazon SMS. This also can now be integrated with SAP BTP to send notifications like SMS and emails and push notifications whenever an event is triggered from S4HANA. So yeah, this was one interesting aspect which I learned in this tech.
Yeah, I think certainly, an advantage of running with hyperscalers is the plethora of services that they have, and the accessibility of those services, and seeing more announcements of the integration of those and closer partnership. I think certainly bodes well for organizations that are working in the AWS environment as well as SAP. It just makes a ton of sense to be able to bring those things together, rather than having to run things separately and potentially have to bridge offline or batch or other things, or to live with services that maybe aren't as robust as you would like when you have access to those hyperscaler services. I also read that they've increased the number of services that run in multiple regions, and so continuing to press where you can get higher reliability, higher availability, better service throughput, as well as uptime, using those hyperscalers as well as other cloud providers. I think they've announced a lot of increases in that as well. So I think all of that plays into what you said in the beginning. Their strategy is to get everybody in the cloud, having those services available and enabling customers to use them more seamlessly with their SAP environments will certainly be a step in the right direction for that. Chetan, did you hear, tell us a little bit about what you heard about Build when you were out there? Because certainly that was the first thing that I started hearing a lot about and probably caught the most attention in the media from the things that I saw. So it clearly seemed like there was a lot of external interest in it. What was it like in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so when they started with the SAP Build only when they started the keynotes, the session. So as per my understanding and my takeaway, so the SAP Build was there since from many years earlier, around 4 to 5 years. So since 5 years, the SAP Build was there, and later they come up with the App Giver, so which is a offering for low code and no code solution. And now this time what I understood is so now they enhanced the App Giver and they added some more feature. I mean, they integrated the App Giver into the SAP Build, and they come up with the SAP Build as a complete low code and no code solution for the business users. But I mean, the main features in the SAP App Build is so here it is mainly build concept like the concentrating on as the CTO said. So in the I mean, the globally we are facing a scarcity of the developers. So hence they want to make the business users or the key users to develop the app with little bit of efforts from the IT team side. So so in this new app build, so here the business users can they create the app and they can integrate some process automations, and also they can create a site, business site. So with these three, I mean, these are three main key features in the SAP App Build. And here also, so I mean, we could see last time. I mean, so we have discussed. I think in one of the Nebula session. So we have discussed about the SAP Signavio. So they integrated SAP Signavio into SAP Build in order to integrate to automate the business processes. And and also they have added in order to create a Fury Launchpad kind of experience. So so they have added a SAP Build Work Zone. So here the users can create the app with low code and no code, and also they can integrate the business processes, and also they can integrate the services provided by the SAP mainly. I mean, they can integrate the OData services into the SAP Build application with the help of destinations. I mean, where the user can able to select the different destinations. Through that, they can integrate the different OData services, and they can create a complete Fury app kind of application so over the build. And also not only that, so they can create the site kind of thing over the Launchpad service. I mean, so now the Launchpad service is upgraded as a work zone, SAP Build Work Zone, so where they can create and integrate the business process automations, and also they can create the site. And and here, like, so it is a kind of 80% work will be done by the business users, and the remaining, if they want any like apart from low code and no code, if they want the pro code, where the users can take it forward. I mean, they mainly that the developers can take it forward, and they can add more the code into it, and they can create a final productive SAP Fury application for the customers and client. So yeah, this is about the SAP Build.
Yeah, well, that certainly sounds useful. You know, the efforts to get some traction with AppGyver seem to, stall a little bit. They had a product announcement, and then you didn't really see, I didn't at least see a lot of uptick in the marketplace on use. So having a more, kind of robust and inclusive platform is certainly a good attempt. I think that there still is obviously a value proposition. The organizations can't get to all of the automation that they need with professional development in-house or with partners. So if there are simpler use cases and it's more approachable, easier for people to use and manage, then I think that bodes well. I saw it's also announced the pricing is that Build is available in the SAP or the BTP free tier as well. So that encourages at least some trial and use of it, but as people see if that's something that they want to adopt or put their toe in the water or put their whole foot or jump all the way in. Ethan, have you seen anything on that? Do you have a kind of a in your mind a position for where that would add value for customers right away?
Yeah, I mean, I like what they're doing as far as the pricing. Finally, for some of these Build products, I think they're priced at a sort of accessible level and have an entry point that's workable. I remain a little bit skeptical about the sort of no code concept. I think that, but I do think that SAP Build, all these tools, whether it's Workzone or process automation or or apps, are, even if they don't never take off as no code tools, I think they're potentially really great developer enablement tools where the other solution to solving the developer shortage is that you make developers more efficient. And if we can have developers build 20 simple apps with SAP Build apps in the same amount of time that it takes to build one sort of fully custom UI5 application, great. That's a great thing for everybody, I think. Now, I think there will be questions as to like, what's the level of quality of those applications? How well tailored are they? How well do they integrate with other Fiori applications or mobile applications? But that's something that SAP can continue to move forward, including pulling older applications forward as they sort of refresh the theme and that sort of thing. So again, I mean, I do expect that there will probably be some uptake from a no-code perspective, especially in organizations that are willing to do the legwork to make it a usable platform for their non-developer business users. But even if it doesn't work, I think it'll still be useful. I also kind of think that I'm really struggling with this, and I'm curious what you all think. But if you think back 20 years and you think about the sort of quote citizen developers that we all had in our organization. So if you went into any finance department in the world, right, there was somebody in that department who was building Visual Basic applications in Excel, and it's not like they couldn't code, right? They wanted to get something done, and they taught themselves not just to use Excel, which is itself a programming environment, but to actually use Visual Basic and build macros and build full applications, essentially, oftentimes. And so I really do wonder if we're a little bit focused on the wrong thing here. Is no code really important for non-developers, or is it more that we have to put the tools in their hands? So is the problem that they can't code, or is the problem that they aren't allowed to code? So anyway, and that's what I'm a little bit struggling with also. But yeah, I do think that there's something there as far as Build and AppGyver.
Yeah, scripting languages and basic variants have been around forever and are generally pretty understandable by people with a relatively small amount of effort. So you're right on with that one, I think, Ethan.
Well, I could never understand Visual Basic, so I don't know how everybody else did.
Yeah, I have experienced working on a SaaS application of SAP called SAP Concur. So I used to be really disappointed when I couldn't make changes on the user interfaces. So all I could do was just go and configure the SAP Concur application using the available tools. So it was really disappointing for me. And now also I can't understand how, I mean, this low code, no code offering, how much useful it would be. And, for giving that wow factor to the customer, we always need to customize even that small tick or a small symbol on the user interface matter, which cannot be provided by giving standard applications.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you're getting at the same thing, Juhi, which is that, and, if I don't think this is the case for Concur, but with S/4HANA, of course, SAP provides all kinds of capabilities for what they call key users, but for power users to be able to customize the Fiori experience for the rest of the organization. And I've yet to see a company actually deploy those tools as intended and allow actual business users to be set up as key users, to be able to deploy changes to Fiori applications. So hide fields, move fields, that kind of thing. Like, I don't see companies doing that. And that's, I think that's exactly what you were looking for, right? With Concur, and the tools are there, but companies aren't deploying them. So I do question a little bit, and I saw some really good interviews about this that John Reed did, actually. I'm not sure if he was doing the interview or if he was quoting an interview that he saw, but the SAP's the audience for these no-code tools wasn't at TechEd, right? It's not a business user conference, but the point that SAP was making in these interviews was the first audience they needed to convince is IT, because IT is actually the problem here. In that IT doesn't give the tools that already exist to the end users to be able to control their own applications. And the question is IT going to give SAP Build to their end users? I think we need to challenge IT departments to actually put these user empowering tools into place.
Yeah, that's been a give and take for eons, right? I think IT's always had this love-hate relationship with access for a lot of the same reason. It empowers departments and work groups to to create capabilities and offload some of what the pipeline of demand that can be crushing. But at the same time, I think the problem is usually it's very difficult to manage once it gets into the environment, actually maintaining it and having backups and then having the tools grow beyond what they were ever intended to be. And pretty soon, the experience from an IT perspective is they get thrown over the wall and say, hey, you need to support this now because it's too big. I can't manage it anymore. Well, we didn't build it, and it's not anything it's really made for me to support. So I think that's where that lies. So I think you're right, Ethan, getting the right profile of the tools and how they can be managed in the environment and enable these users is probably the key win in making it successful. Yeah, the one I want to shift gears. One of the other topics that I saw was kind of interesting is there's a whole bunch of new learning that was announced, and including a partnership with Coursera. And I've taken courses from Coursera in other companies, and I find it to be a really effective learning platform. And developers that I managed used it to great effect and were very fond of it. So that was I thought that was a really helpful and bode in a development that bodes well in the continuing growth of the learning capabilities and the platform. And then a bunch of audacious goals around how many, like training 2 million new developers for or touching 2 million developers in learning new skills and upskilling to serve hundreds of thousands of new jobs that they foresee coming. So I thought that was really good. I've been impressed with kind of the what SAP's done lately within the last year or so to improve its learning platform. And I thought that Coursera announcement was really welcome to see. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, they have come up with a one more thing. I mean, in BTP, which is SAP Discovery Center. So this is a place where the users can, the developers can go there, and they can simulate the end-to-end processes of a particular service. So keeping in mind, if you want to learn about the end-to-end process of a particular BAS tool or SAP build tool, so for everything, so they created a comprehensive information in the SAP Discovery Center, where we can take up a particular mission, and we can start working on that, and we can start learning on that. And so they have provided like step-by-step information, along with the screenshot, where we can practice ourselves, and we can learn more about a particular service in the BTP platform. So I found the SAP Discovery Center is also one of the main area where we can learn so many things.
Mhm. And they announced at TechEd that they added 10 new use cases to the Discovery Center as well. So there's, those missions that you described, they've got more content out there and more scenarios that developers can use.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I think the more that SAP can expand its learning offerings and make learning freely available to the community and people who want to learn about SAP, I think the better off they're going to be, and we're all going to be. The learning.sap.com also has new learning journeys that have been added. I think they're aligned with the Discovery Center ones largely. So there's a long way to go. There's still a bunch of stuff locked behind walls in Learning Hub that's very hard to get to. And SAP has a lot of work to do to sort of free all that content, I guess I would say. I think they're definitely on the right track there. Would love if it went faster, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, for sure. Chetan, did you get into any labs while you were there?
Yeah, I attended this one SAP Discovery Center particular hands-on lab, where we created one CAP service, CAP application, and using BAS tool and using SAP like SAP build tool, we created a site for that particular application by using content. So that particular hands-on lab I attended. And apart from that, I attended one more lab where we can create a CAP application which can work with multi-tenancy capability. So saying that, we can create a CAP application in BTP tool, and with just one liner code, just mentioning in the project configuration file, we need to just mention multi-tenancy as true, and also we need to provide on which particular tenant means our CAP application we want to work, so that information we can provide. With that, we can leverage the same application across different tenancy. Like this is more useful when the particular customer has a requirement, like they want to develop a application across the different countries by thinking a particular, so each country has different instances. So like instead of creating same application across different tenants, so we can build a single application, and we can make that application as a multi-tenant. So that one hands-on lab I attended to attend.
Yeah, unique experience at Tech Ed with the number of labs as compared to Sapphire and some of the other events. It's something I always enjoyed about that particular venue. So I'm glad to see that come back for sure.
Okay.
Julie, I think I interrupted you earlier. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there is one more website, health.sap.com, which is a one-stop shop for many learnings, and you can kickstart your BTP journey also, and it has really good documentation for BTP transformation over there.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing which you can leverage is roadmap journeys, which has been recommended by SAP Activate to, and it's really very interesting, and you have a lot of solutions over there. You can filter by using different criterias like industries and domains and applications and so on. So it's we have a lot of material which we can utilize.
Yeah, sounds good. Chetan, was there still a lot of networking opportunities and things that you encountered while you were there? That's one of the benefits of getting together. We've lamented that on this podcast at times with all the virtual events. One of the things you miss is seeing other people, meeting other people, being able to kind of get a more interactive dialogue going with them. Did you see a lot of that at the event?
Yeah, I met a couple of people across different industries who came to attend the event, and apart from that, I got the opportunity to meet the SAP, the Open SAP mentors, which we usually see in the Open SAP courses, and I got the opportunity to speak with them. And I got many informations, mainly now like the ABAP cloud, whatever we are developing the ABAP related extension or development till now. Like whenever we used to develop on the NetWeaver gateway, so now onwards, so we can develop the same thing over the SAP S/4HANA stack. Yeah, so and also in that particular the RAP application, so we have, they integrated everything in the BTP, so that we including the transport mechanism, the application development, so everything is integrated into a BTP platform. And so I got opportunity to meet these people. Yeah, so and along with that, the different associates so who came from the different organizations. Yeah, so it was good. And and also apart from that, so they installed some kind of small stalls kind of thing, where a couple of the SAP folks came there, and they demonstrated the latest technologies. I got interested to see virtual reality kind of thing. The SAP, they are working on a particular product where we can do the virtual shopping kind of activities. Like they come up with a particular device where the user can wear into over the head like a spec, and with the help of the virtual reality, the user can do a particular shopping kind of experience by sitting at his convenient. So those kind of things.
Very cool. Very cool. What else? Anything that you were hoping to hear about, any of you that you didn't? Anything that maybe by absence you were disappointed?
No, because the main thing was, I concentrated mainly on the hands-on labs part, because the virtual sessions, so I thought I could go through afterwards. But since so we have a opportunity to only attend we can register only 2 hands-on labs in the SAP TechEd website. And the remaining the hands-on means I was interested to go for one more hands-on, which is related to the RAP model. But since I didn't register, so I couldn't get a seat to go and attend.
Not enough time in the day, not enough seats in the labs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything that was, there was a bunch of stuff missing, obviously, but nothing huge that I had major expectations about. I do, I always, me, Rob, Juhi, I always want stuff to go faster. So I want SAP to do it all, right? And there's limited bandwidth. But I was really encouraged to see some of what's going on with ABAP Cloud and the move to on-premise and the alignment of the platforms there. I think that's been a missing story for probably 5 years now, and it's really good to see that starting to happen. So I hope that we continue along that path.
Very good. Juhi, any final thoughts, things that you had seen or didn't see that you thought was noteworthy?
Yeah, one of the main themes which I believe we have missed discussing is that SAP emphasized on the user experience this time, and they have come up with a number of apps or different tools for that, like Task Center, SAP Start, SAP Mobile Start, and then Bind 360-degree in intelligent spend. And apart from that, they have come up with SAP Fiori Horizon, which is all new UX experience. And it is a new design language, which is intuitive to use, more accessible and more inclusive. And it is contemporary, friendly, and whole new designs are there. So this is, one of the highlights of TechEd this time.
Good, thank you. Well, I think we're about out of time and steam on this topic. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to share your thoughts and your reflections. Chetan, I really want to thank you for sharing your in-person experience with us. I'm jealous that you're able to go. I look forward to a time when these events are more open to everybody again, but very happy that you were able to make it and inform us on what happened, and look forward to more, kind of seeing some of these activities and announcements roll out into our environments and start to get our hands on them.
Thanks, Rob.
Yep. Okay. So with that,
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks everybody, and have a great day. Talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.